Dia doroma o winyo ywak yuore kelo koyuma liyo korinda. O winyo ywak yuore kelo koyuma liyo korinda. Ane liuoda ero konari arindoroma ane giwa.
want to present Luo cultural homestead, and we want to present how a Luo would make a home. Preparation is done, and the man to make the home gets a brother whom he trusts so much. And then this brother, together with him, sites a place for the new home. And then nobody else is told. Then very early in the morning, they go with the man to step and bless the place for him. And the man must carry this kind of grass. This is star grass. We call it modno, so that the person making the home is expected to prosper. You can see it makes suckers, and each sucker will produce branches. So a man is expected to expand like that in life. The man makes a structure like this and then sleeps in alone. He has to have an axe as a sign of hard work, and a cock to crow every morning to wake him up. Then he must have the equipment that is around here for security, like this one is for security. Then this one is a symbol of keeping livestock, like this one is tied to a cow or a bull that is a bit cheeky, so that it can be traced when it makes noise like that. Then on top of this structure, the man puts the bird trap according to the number of wives he has up there, so that each wife is represented with a bird trap. It's a respected bird by the name Aluru in Doluo. It's quail bird. The next day, the man makes the first wife's house that is represented here. It should face the gate. Then he fulfills all the cultural rites in that house, and those are details we cannot go to now. About 2 weeks is enough for him to fulfill all the rites. Then he puts up the house of the next wife, that is this one. In the Luo, the first wife is called Mikai. And then the second wife is called Nyachira. So this man had 2 wives. If he had 3, then the third wife's house would be on this other side. They alternate. Then the granary here is a sign of wealth in food. The man built an office, a traditional office. We call it duol in the Luo, where these wives can consult him. The wives should know which house he's going to visit that same night through consultation from the man's heart. Then the first son of this house will build his small hut on the left hand side, this one, as you enter the home, or the right hand side as you leave the home. Then if the same house had the second son will build the house here, so that they alternate. But all the first sons will be on this side. Then the man must have a cattle kraal. This where he restrains the cattle. You can see the symbols. And outside the home, the cattle is tethering. So that's a complete home. The side gates here are always there. A real traditional Luo man, when comes through the main gate, and he must come through the main gate, makes some kind of noise to alert whoever was inside the wife's house. That was allowed traditionally. That one of the in-laws could be talking to the wife, or if the man was not capable of producing children, then traditionally he was allowed to have a brother or a cousin that is so dear to him, and he may have chosen that because of the breed. Then the man can breed with the wife. So that was allowed. Now in the kitchen we have the grinding stone, this one, where flour was ground to powder for making meals. The processing starts from here. You can see this is over 200 years back, and this one shows authenticity of our culture. And this is a pestle. So the processing would start from here by preparing the sorghum. Then it is processed using the tray. It is a winnowing tray, it is winnowed, and then mixed with cassava, like this one here, to be ground to powder for the meal. Now, preparation of fish was very unique. This kind of pot has things that look like ears. It is called oigla. That is a fish pot. Traditionally, when we cook fish, something like this is dipped inside to protect fish from burning when it overcooks. And this is called oswaro. So, because we love eating fish, this one is symbolic of the Luo culture. From there, I want to take you up. We have different types of pots. That is one of its kinds for the fish. This one here is called ralungi. It is for preparing meat.
Yes, okay.
And then a smaller size could be used for preparing vegetables, as we shall see. We have various sizes put elsewhere. Then at the middle here, we have traditional hot pot. This can keep food hot for a long time because clay is a bad conductor of heat, and it has a lid. Hope you can see the lid. Then dishing was done in these small earthenware dishes. Then after milking, the milk was poured into the gourd like this. And then it is cooked. After 12 hours or so, the milk here was churned like that for about 15 minutes. Then it makes fat. And this fat was boiled properly to make ghee. And the ghee was also served using these small dishes. So those were kitchen activities. And of course, this is a winnowing tray that we had used when processing the sorghum. Now, after preparation, occasionally, Luos could sit down to celebrate, especially after a heavy harvest. And so, using the grains, women could make a local brew for their in-laws called boza. And boza is fermented from the grain of sorghum. Then the process goes on. It is ground, it is fermented, it is fried, dried, then again soaked in water. Then after some days, 1 week or so, it is worked in properly using the hand. Then when the D-Day comes for celebration, it is warmed. Then the old men would use these three-legged stools to sit around this brew, and then they sip using this. This is called oseke. The tube is hollow. I'm not allowed to sip through this. Maybe one of you can try. We were allowed to use calabash to taste it, but not oseke. Then I'm not allowed to sit on this traditional stool as a sign of respect. We had various types of pots. This is for drinking water, and this is for storage of grains again. And it can also be used for boiling potatoes or boiling maize and the rest.
This is one of the Luo community old food, which has not gone through many changes like other food. The sweet potato is used with milk. You can use it in eating fish. You can eat vegetables with it. And then you can even eat it without any other thing. So this is something we are actually appealing to the current generation to turn back. This is a local vegetable. This is the only known vegetable which survives in drought. It is always harvested in dried water or ponds. When all the water is gone, cows and any other thing do not have water, this is when it sprouts. We call her Jasigumba. You will test it with your tongue to find out how it tastes. Okay, the cat's mouth. Ni chakula maalum ambayo inatokana na simsim. We have some equipment made of wood. You actually pound the simsim mpaka ikuwe namna hii. This one you can eat for 2 months without taking it anyway, without requiring fire. It stays very fresh for a very long time. This is for their neighbor, the groundnuts. Odi. Fine. Sasa hii si unaweza kuonja ndugu yangu. Unaijua? Ombele. That is a mixture of the simsim, a mixture of green grams, and moja ni mtama, pili ni mhogo, tatu moja ni mtama, mhogo, na ya tatu ya tatu maziwa, ndio ya maziwa, alafu the cow ghee. This is the cow. Instead of using water, this one we use milk, sour milk. And then when actually korogaring the ugali, unaweka hiyo. That combination forms a preservative for this ugali to stay longer. Even if some of you want to carry a piece, we can actually wrap some and you test for yourselves how long does it stay without going bad. This is githeri, maragwe ya kienyeji. This is vegetable, a combination of 42 vegetables. It is called atuago. In old women's big pot, you could not miss atuago. Taste. What you do with it is adding milk. Every evening, every morning you add milk. But here, all the 42 vegetables documented there. If you want to eat all of them today, have a taste from here. Oh yes, this is fresh blood. That one is dried blood. Yes, to know why atuago is standing out significantly. When you go through this documentation, you will find that most of our vegetables have various food values and minerals, vitamins, minerals, proteins, and carbohydrates. If you do this in milk, it is like you have everything by eating atuago. Uji. We always talk about uji. This is uji made of potatoes and ohara. This is the general uji, which perhaps is common. You mix sorghum, you have finger millet, you have dried cassava, there is milk, and you have the uji. Pilipili, besides being used by Oreo at lunchtime, the leaves are very good vegetables with very high food values, if many people do not know.
nimesoma miaka mitatu kule Japani kusomea udaktari. Stella wangu shika sana, simama, kula rumba, ziki bila jasho. Nilimpenda Stella jamani, kajitolea kwa roho moja, nikauza shamba langu sababu yake, nikauza ng'ombe wangu sababu yake, nikauza kondoo na mbuzi sababu yake, ili apate nauli ya ndege na pesa zingine za matumizi kule Japani. Shaddai, asante sana. Ilikuwa tarehe 17 mwezi wa 5. Ilikuwa tarehe 17 mwezi wa 5. Hilo kuwa tarehe kamili yake Stella kurudi Kenya. Nilikwenda uwanja wa ndege kwenda kumlaki Stella. Nilikuwa na Anko Kiringa uwanja wa ndege. Nilikuwa na Mzito Oyando uwanja wa ndege. Nilikuwa na Baba El Shaddai uwanja wa ndege. Nilikuwa na mjomba wa Kuloma na mkewe na watoto wake Fresh Lady. Sikia sasa, muziki bila jasho, muziki imekomaa, au sio? Kabla nilipotoa uwanjani tuliona vituko. Stella alishuka mbelema mtoto mdogo, nyuma yake chumba wake mfupi futi 4 Japani. Nilisikitika ndani ya moyo, nikakosa la kufanya. Nilitamani nilie Kijapani lakini sikijui, nikatamani nilie Kiluya, lugha ya baba na baba. Ilinibidi nilie Kitaita, ndege mwana niponye baya Fresh Day. Nilitamani nilie Kihindi lakini sikijui, nikatamani nilie Gujarati lakini sikijui, nikatamani nilie Kibukusu, lugha ya baba na mama. Ilinibidi nilie Kijaluo, anatima moto Fresh Day. It's the most pop band with the lead guitar, El Shaddai, on the drums, Yakanova Fukiram. Feel the music. Come back, Stella, I still need you, baby. Come back, Stella, I still need you, baby. Wanini kunipiga chenga Stella kama mpira uwanjani. Wanini kunipiga chenga Stella kama mpira uwanjani. Stella wangu wewe. I still love you, baby. I still love you, mommy. Kama ingelikuwa ni wewe Husna, ungefanya nini? Ingekuwa ni wewe Dadi Mzito, ungefanya nini? Kama ingelikuwa ni wewe mama, ungefanya nini? Stella wangu wewe.
latinae soki ya boy otikae ya mekanzoto kapesi sakamoto likambo latinae soki ya boy otikae ya mekanzoto. Bala moko ae bale kambo azali kosala Bala moko kambo latina soki ya boy otika ya mekanzoto Bala moko kambo latina soki ya boy otika ya mekanzoto. Bala moko ae bali kambo azali kosala Balomela kamoto likambo bala moko ae bali kambo azali kosala Mapekisa kamoto likambo latina soki ya boy otika ya mekanzoto Mapekisa kamoto likambo latina soki ya boy otika ya mekanzoto. Bolingine papie kutumo mimbanga la teo nesese nayo nesese mingie ikambo nine sherie bolingine papie kutumo mimbanga la teo nesese nayo nesese mingie Makuini banda misopugiteo Kaimoko nanda kona komiko enga Kolinga motoza la kaetumbwe Dami pesa sibanga iloboko mobalie Kolingo oyo koma kosabote Ebandanga la bato nyoso bamona Tanga mature boni obete langai Libaso na imayo na libala Kolingo oyo koma kosabote Ebandanga la bato nyoso bamona Tanga mature boni obete langai Libaso na imayo na libala Obaliko nanga inano na kenzo Elona mi pesa omo nanga izoba Kolinga bonite ezali na misote Nandako komikota nanga pamba boni Koma kosabote Ebandanga la bato nyoso bamona Tanga bature boni obete langai Libaso na imayo na libala Sangona yokie utina limbele Apesi yokombo bon samarite Atana nzoto na miyoke limawa Moye mosusu na sale zalite Bona bonae Kolingo oyo koma kosabote Ebandanga bato nyoso bamona Tanga bature boni obete langai Liboso na imayo na libala Oyo koma kosabote Ebandanga bato nyoso bamona Tanga bature boni obete langai Liboso na imayo na libala Sangona yokie kunioa ila kuniharibia maisha. Heri uniambie ukweli ulivyo kuliko kunidanganya. Nikuelewe vipi babu we, babu we, uaminifu wako uko wapi baba? Nikuelewe vipi babu we, babu we, uaminifu wako uko wapi baba? Mama wewe ungenipenda, kwa nini kunidanganya Bwana? Uwezo wa kunioa ila kuniharibia maisha. Heri uniambie ukweli ulivyo kuliko kunidanganya. Nikuelewe vipi babu we, babu we, uaminifu wako uko wapi baba? Nikuelewe vipi babu we, babu we, uaminifu wako uko wapi baba? Usinione peke baba, usinione peke baba, wakukubali wito wako karubalika, wakukubali wito wako karubalika. Haya ni matatizo ya dunia baba, haya ni matatizo ya dunia baba. Nataka kujitumbukiza ndani ya moto mie, kumbe bwana yule hana kitanda wala shuka pakulalana, analala kwenye stendi ya basi pakulalana, anakesha kwenye kituo cha mauzo karubalika yoyo. Wacha vituko we baba, usinione bwege baba, usinione bwege baba, wakukubali wito wako karubalika, wakukubali wito wako karubalika. Haya ni matatizo ya dunia baba, haya ni matatizo ya dunia baba. Akiingia kwenye ba, kazi yake kuomba bia, akiingia kwenye ba, kazi yake kuomba bia, ana hata iwe hata sigara pia anaomba. Mtaani na kwenye mastori tangaza kuwa yeye ni mkurugenzi wa kampuni fulani, kumbe sivyo hivyo. Usinione bwege baba, usinione bwege baba, wakukubali wito wako karubalika, wakukubali wito wako karubalika. Haya ni matatizo ya dunia baba, haya ni matatizo ya dunia baba. Baba, usione mwenge Baba, wakukubali wito wako, wakukubali wito wako. Haya yote ni matatizo ya dunia Baba, haya yote ni matatizo ya dunia Baba.